Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Matt Horn
is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
I am a ghost, an elite soldier. Trained to strike my enemies before they know I exist.
Hello, Matt? Hi, it's Glenda. So I'm calling you because as much as I love our little text exchanges, I think you're overusing the emojis, and it's kind of the point I don't know what you're saying anymore. The last one had a spool of thread, a security vest of some kind, a badminton shuttlecock, and then the smiling little pile of poop. So I'm a little confused, and I feel like I've lost you. I'm guessing you're not picking up because you're playing a video game, and most likely you're playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which I'm not going to fault you for, but you need to unplug and maybe just try and string a few sentences together. Could you help me out here? All right? Anytime. I promise I'll pick up when you call. Okay, bye.
So on the line we have Glenda Braganza talking to us from... Where are you talking to us from, Glenda?
I am speaking to you from lovely, sunny Los Angeles, California.
Hang on a second. On your IMDb it says you're Canadian.
I am a Canadian who has traded in her parka and winter boots for tank tops and flip-flops. The time came, I just needed a break from the winter.
I was going to say you've traded your Justin Trudeau for your Donald Trump.
You don't get to pick all the choices when you make these changes. You got to kind of go with the flow, and sometimes there are some pills that are not as lovely to swallow. So that's one of them, case in point.
I mean, he's come under hot water recently, but I'm not going to go into why.
Yeah, I mean, from day one, it's been a circus, and you kind of wake up each day and you wonder what you're going to hear in the news. And I don't know. I mean, for the people who didn't think he was going to get elected, now he is, and for the people who didn't think they were going to talk about impeachment, they're trying. So we'll see where it goes. It's a nonstop circus.
I was talking about Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, well, we got hot water up in Canada as well. He did not escape the election unscathed either. So everyone's got skeletons, it would appear.
Well, do you feel that you're at breaking point?
I do. I need to do a little more recon and know what I'm talking about, though.
Oh, very good. So, obviously, the reason why we've got you here is because of the new Tom Clancy game, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. To be honest, it's been released a bit too close to Call of Duty, and that's a bit of a problem.
I've been hearing that there's all kinds of little bits of excitement and controversy surrounding the release of the game, also with a few hiccups and things.
Obviously, I like starting these kind of podcasts off, the gaming podcast, with what was production of the game like for you?
It was a total trip. Performance capture it's kind of jumping out of a plane without a net, because you go into studio and instead of being on set where you've got all these, lights, cameras, set designers and decorators and actual furniture and costumes, you put on a skinny suit with a bunch of, balls and points all over your body. You're given this ridiculous helmet with lights flashing in your face, and you agree to walk into the abyss of nothingness and create a world.
I mean, I've obviously talked to quite a lot of people about motion capture over the last couple of years or so. Would you say and agree with them that it's a lot like theatre?
Oh, absolutely. You have to tap into your imagination. You have to create a world out of nothing, but you really have to be connected to who you're in the scene with, because it's just the two of you. You can't cheat it because there's nothing else to rely on or hide behind to really see what goes on in terms of the computers and the cameras that are just all over the room, tracking every little bit, and then seeing how that translates into the creation of these characters and the 3D, almost 4D effect that they have is stunning.
I mean, I've just been looking at your IMDb quite quickly. This is sort of your first game, isn't it?
It is my first performance capture game, yes. like 100 years ago, I did a game with Ubisoft. It was one of their very first AI games for Xbox 360, but it was all voice work. So I didn't get a chance to strap on the suit and run around a room.
I'm sort of thinking how silly that must look.
It's this vast, empty, carpeted room, and they'll be a bit helpful, and they'll kind of maybe put some markers on the carpet and say, okay, well, you're going to pretend this is where there's a walkway and there's a table in the room, or you're going to go here and there's a big sliding door at the end of the hall, and you basically all just imagine and you map out an imaginary set, and then without costumes and without a script, or, you know, you have a script but you don't have, you know, like a Bible that you're walking around holding in your hand. You have to just create these scenes.
Have you had a chance to see the finished product or yourself in mocap form?
Yes, I did. I actually had the chance to watch one of the missions where my character has to be rescued. Ayana Puri is held captive for reasons. And one of the missions for the ghosts is to go to an island and to retrieve her and find out some more information and continue on their mission. And it was really, really cool to see. I must admit I'm not a gamer myself, but the world of it fascinates me, the technological aspect of it, and now the cinematography that they are using and the stories that they want to bring in are really, really fascinating.
I love this question. Are there any sort of funny anecdotes you can share about the production of the game?
So I don't know if you've ever seen the helmets that mocap actors wear.
Yes.
It's basically, it's like this giant harness that sits on your head, and then there's this bar that kind of swoops out around your face connected to either side of the helmet, and on that are these little headlights that light up your face because they've got all the dots and there are cameras there, so it gets a close-up of all your facial movements and tics and reactions. And so you've got this bar hanging out around your face with these lights on it, and you have to pretend like it's not there. And one day we were doing a scene where one of the other characters comes up to my character and he puts his arm around me. He gets in a little bit closer than my character wants him to be, but what happens is the front of his helmet and the front of my helmet, where these bars are, actually get hooked up together by accident. He kind of like hooks his into mine, and we're still trying to do the scene, but as we're looking at each other's eyes and saying these lines, I'm realizing we're now stuck together and we need to disengage somewhat gracefully, but pretend like none of this is actually happening. It was one of those things where you literally have a moment where you have an out-of-body experience and you go, just keep doing it, and you just kind of cheat and find a way to rotate your head and unclip things and continue like nothing ever happened. But I was so sure I was going to yank his helmet off at some point if one of us didn't get that unhooked.
Well, let's talk a bit about you yourself. What made you want to get into acting in the first place?
Well, I was one of those kids who was really artistically inclined, and my parents, they wanted me to be well-rounded, so they put me in ballet, they put me in piano, and I loved it. I loved art, and I think they just thought I was going to be, you know, a well-rounded kid, but I was going to get a real job, like go into law or medicine. And instead, I really got bitten by the bug, and I thought I wanted to be a ballet dancer for the longest time, but I hated how I never got to stop and talk to the audience. Like, I always wanted to stop mid-dance and tell the audience a joke or tell them a story and then just continue on my merry way. And then I started doing plays in school, and segue to high school, I found myself going in at 6 o'clock in the morning and leaving 9 o'clock at night because I ended up running the drama department. And that's when I figured out that that's what I wanted to be doing.
What advice would you give to anyone wanting to get into the industry?
I would say don't do it if you want to be rich and famous and have specific expectations of how it's going to go. And if you're a control freak, God help you. I'm pretty sure most and every actor will say you really do have to love it. You almost have to be a little masochistic too, because if you don't love it, you won't stick it out, and you have to hear 100 no's before you hear one yes. And if you don't love it, it's gonna hurt you.
Basically, I feel I need to talk about this project because it's coming out in a month, which is Code 8.
Oh, right.
Now, I've been following this. One of the shows, the podcast's Dear Friends is in it as well. Do you want me to tell you who it is?
I do. Please tell me.
It's Peter Outerbridge.
Oh, wow.
I do have to ask the question. It's going to be released in December. What's it about, and what was it like working on set?
It's a sci-fi. It's got a supernatural feel, but it's almost like it's a police detective sci-fi. And I didn't spend a whole lot of time on that set. The one day that I was on, it was pretty amazing. It was a night shoot. And they said, okay, you're going to be walking in, you're going to be, looking at this wreckage, you're going to be sort of filling in some details. And we walk in, and there's just this mangled mound of wire and steel. And I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be a UFO or a vehicle that a human being used to be in. I don't want to give it away. And there was, to be honest, a whole lot of secrecy. They didn't really share a lot of the script, and they didn't really have a lot of the cast talking to each other during the shoot.
So really, no one knows what it's about.
Honestly, the best I could say is it's kind of like a bank heist meets cop thriller meets sci-fi, if you wanted to kind of slot it into a few places. So I think everyone's intrigued to see what the final project will look like. I have questions too, if that makes you feel any better.
Obviously, you've been in a number of different TV series and films. I'm guessing you're probably going to choose Saving Hope as a background to this question. Which actors and actresses have been your favourites to work with, and why?
Oh, I think one of my favourites, this is going to go against what you were expecting me to say, it was actually Tatiana Maslany on Orphan Black. I had the delight of being in one of the first episodes of the final season. And so, I mean, for anyone who's seen the show, they know what a tour de force this woman is and all these brilliant characters she brings to life. But I had the privilege of having her character stab me in the face with a giant needle. And it was probably the most fun I've ever had on set. She's a delight, and her characters are brilliant, and it's a lot of fun on that set. I absolutely enjoyed my time on Grey's Anatomy. Erica Durance and Michael Shanks and Daniel Gillies, who were the leads of those shows, are, they're mainstays in terms of, well, Smallville, you can't go wrong, and Stargate. So it was fun to work with them, but also kind of surreal to have them in this completely different genre where, we're being doctors, we're doing procedural stuff, but of course they weave in a little bit of the supernatural in terms of the souls. So I guess they couldn't really get them too far out of that world. That was a lot of fun. And then last year I spent a few days on the set of Simple Favor, which was directed by Paul Feig, the guy who did the female Ghostbusters and Bridesmaids. And the star of that was Anna Kendrick. And she is a really cool and incredibly hardworking woman. She just bounces from project to project. She doesn't stop, and the work that she does is really great, and she's actually a very down-to-earth and super cool chick to hang out with.
You said about a couple of minutes ago that you like working with Michael Shanks and Erica Durance on Grey's Anatomy. It's not Grey's Anatomy, is it?
No, sorry, that was the other medical show I recently did. You're right, Saving Hope, as you originally predicted. That was what I meant to say, 100%. When you play as many doctors as I have and been on as many shows in a medical scenario, they really do start melting into one. So my apologies.
That's okay, because I'm supposing really, actually, because you were a doctor and you were obviously a reoccurring character, you must be thinking when you're doing that show, I really want to do Grey's Anatomy. I really want to do the top, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the thought crossed my mind, and when I started working on Saving Hope, I actually didn't know if I would be coming to Los Angeles. That really wasn't on my radar at the time. Although the funny thing was, when I booked Grey's Anatomy, it was not to play a doctor. Despite, the multiple doctors on my resume, they wanted to see me for a very different role. And it was actually a delight to be on the other side of that relationship. It was cool to watch everyone do their doctoring thing. I was like, oh, I remember what that was like. But it was really nice. As an actor, we always want to stretch and grow and do other things. So it was cool to be on the receiving end of all the medical jargon and just be a human being dealing with doctors for a change.
Is there any characters that you haven't done that you would like to do?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me a good doctor. And I always say playing a doctor, as much as I have on television, is like med school for dummies. So it's very enlightening. You sort of learn a lot of the basics. I really like to work physically. I'd love to do action. I would love to do more comedy. I did some sitcoms in the past, but lately it's been a lot more drama. I would also love to play a woman lost in space. How cool would that be?
So a bit like Barbarella.
Yeah, maybe with a bit more clothing on.
She's been arrested.
Has she?
Yeah, did you hear about that? She got arrested at the...
Oh, she was protesting, right?
Yeah, couldn't believe that. Well, what about a female lost in space? When I say female lost in space, I mean not the, like, Gravity, like Sandra Bullock. I mean a proper lost in space, which is female-led.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I think it would just be great to have, an all-female crew out on some hell-bent mission in the depths of the expanse, and we're all wired differently, and there might be a little bit more negotiation rather than, I don't know, photon torpedoes being fired. It'd be interesting to see, but when push comes to shove, it's all about survival, and God knows what you'd meet out there, so that'd be kind of cool.
I do have to ask, because obviously we talked about Code 8 and obviously the supernatural. Is that somewhere you would like your career to go, sort of like into the Marvel kind of DC kind of world, like supernatural powers, superhero powers?
Absolutely. I would love that. And I think, like I said, actors love to stretch and grow. I played a lot of doctors. I played a lot of lawyers. I played a lot of really interesting characters, cerebral stuff. But I'd love to really just get lost in a world like Marvel. And also, I think the more diversity we have out there in all kinds of characters, the better it is. I never saw anyone who looked like me playing those kinds of roles growing up. And I would absolutely love the chance to step into those boots and kick some butt and represent a whole generation of kids who read comic books and go to the movies and are super passionate about these things, but maybe don't feel like they're represented in the medium. Are
there any actors or actresses that you would like to work with?
Oh, gosh, who wouldn't I like to work with? In the comedy world, I feel like Mindy Kaling is just taking over the universe. I love her voice and her spirit and the things that she wants to be doing. I think that Maya Rudolph is hilarious. The entire cast of The Good Place are phenomenal human beings. Strong women on screen, Cate Blanchett, Thandie Newton, Natalie Portman. Ruth Negga from Preacher. She's kick-ass too. These are great, amazing people. I would love to be in the same room with them, breathing the same oxygen. And if I get to work with them, that's a bigger bonus.
Noticing they're all female.
There are a lot of talented guys out there, but I look for inspiration. I look for women who play roles that I want to play, and so that's where my brain goes. The stories require a broad spectrum, but in terms of where my heart goes when I think about who do I want to work with, it's the people who inspire me, and I love the amount of powerful, strong, funny women who are on screens now, and I just keep recognizing that. My brain just gravitates that way.
There has been a shift, hasn't there? I mean, I don't think anyone cannot deny that there's been a shift, especially Oscar nominations. I mean, look at, trying to think, last couple off the top of my head. It's gone blank. Help me out here.
Well, there's your very beloved and adored Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who the whole world just wants to be best friends with. She cleaned up at the Emmys.
Who's the one I'm thinking of? Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. Oh, yes. Yeah, that was for La La Land, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's loads, and there always has been. There just haven't been roles for them, or there hasn't been support in the industry going, no, you know what? We need more female characters, female-driven stories. The audiences want to see them, and not just because it's a female audience. It's for everyone. And also on the other side of the camera, Matt, like writers, directors, showrunners, they've been sitting waiting for their chance, and the reality is the business has been a boys' club for a very long time, but like you said, things are changing, and it's brilliant now. You put a TV show on and note how many female names are the director of that episode now. That's something you didn't see 10 years ago. And
obviously I need to mention that next year they're doing that sort of DC film, which is Birds of Prey, which has got a female all-leg cast.
Oh, that's right. Who is the the lead of that?
Oh, George, you put me on the spot.
Is it Margot Robbie?
Margot Robbie, yes.
Yeah. That's going to be... And Rosie Perez, Ali Wong, she's going to be in that. She is hilarious. Her stand-up is great. I'd love to see what she's going to bring to this movie. She's a funny chick.
And I'm just going to put in Batwoman. Ruby Rose, yes, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course. She's... I mean, she was great on... Was it Orange the New Black when she was sort of introduced mainstream to the world?
Yeah. I will agree with you a bit more so with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, because I'm going to put a bit of trivia out there that I know. They hired her to rewrite the new Bond film.
Yeah, well, I think they want to take the Bond girl and turn her into a Bond woman and give her some real sass and some spice and some real purpose and help kind of drive the franchise into this modern age. And who better to do it? I mean, she writes so well for women. She's got a wicked sense of humor. I'm so excited. I'm really, really thrilled.
Well, I'm going to give you a 1-minute plug to plug Ghost Recon Breakpoint and anything else you've got coming up.
Let's give Ghost Recon some love. How about that? As someone who doesn't play games, I have watched some of this stuff, and I really am impressed with the world that they've created. And Ghost Recon Breakpoint, I feel like Ubisoft has really pushed the envelope. They're trying to take things to the next level, and they're constantly evolving. And sometimes things take time, but I'm really amazed with the amount of work they've put in to take this game to the next level and give the players a really, really immersive experience. It's like being in your own movie, but having a lot of choices and control. To me, as an actor, watching what they are capable of and the world that they create is absolutely amazing. And for people who are playing it, I hope that they really enjoy the adventure of what that is, and also the storylines that they try to blend in to make it a fuller, more, expansive experience.
And is there anything else coming out for you this year, next year?
No, just the two films I just did were recently released. Code 8, as you mentioned, is coming out. There's another film I did called Business Ethics that was recently, it had its premiere at the Newark Film Festival. It'll be doing the rounds at some of the film festivals here in the U.S. I don't know if it'll go abroad. And aside from that, I personally have started writing, and it's an amazing adventure. And I just want to encourage anyone out there who's got a creative spirit and has a story in their head, do it. You'd be amazed what's inside of you, and it's really inspiring to tap into unknown inspiration and give yourself permission to just go there.
Well, Glenda, it's been a pleasure interviewing you.
It was lovely to meet and talk with you, and I really appreciate your interest and support.
Thanks very much for your time.
My pleasure, and thank you also for yours. All the best.
Bye-bye now.
All right, take it easy.